My third video. I'm jumping the gun a little bit of when I'm going to plant my tomatoes and squashes so that I can get you the video before you do your planting. Most people say the first full moon in June, which was 2 days ago. So the Farmer's Almanac is saying that it should be on the 10th of June this year. And there's also some Farmers Helping Farmers website that suggested that you go by when the natural plants bloom. So you can actually plant your tomatoes when the irises bloom. So I think that they can go in safely this week. I'm about to plant my first tomato of the year, and I'm going to plant Dark Galaxy, which is a dark one with red in it, which I think is going to be beautiful. I already made a nice deep hole, and I'm going to scoop some water in it, and it's like the banana water, so it has like some extra potassium in it. Then I'm going to put a banana in the hole. The banana is going to help hold moisture when it starts getting hot in the summer, and it's also going to provide sweetness and potassium. And I have some eggshells in here too that I'm going to put in, and that's supposed to keep away some pests and also do the calcium. When I take the plant out, I'm going to shake it out like this and not go over top, because if you yank it out from the top, you're going to pinch and maybe destroy some of the little roots coming in. So I'm going to pinch off the bottom leaves, and I'm going to bury this in the ground. And once it's in, I'm going to put a cage over top, and when I put the cage over top, and be careful not to hit the stem, and I'm going to go down really deep because it's hard to picture now with a tiny little plant, but this is going to be a really heavy plant all full of fruit soon. Now I have this, it's called soaker hose. It has little tiny holes in it, and I'm going to put this alongside the base of the plant. And this is a great setup because I just turn my hose on, leave it on for 10 or 15 minutes about once a week, depending on how hot it is and how dry it is. And this is really good because tomatoes, when they get splashed on the leaves, like when you water from over top, you can actually cause some different diseases and problems with your tomatoes. So when you're watering, try to water the bottom. Do you have to buy hose? Absolutely not. I do it just because it makes my life easy, and I'm a little bit obsessed with tomatoes. I also have this gardening fabric, this landscaping fabric that I've been using for years over and over again. And this just helps to keep the weeds down. You can use a whole bunch of different different things, like you could use mulch, you can use shredded newspaper, you can use weedless straw. I'm going to show you how to plant cucumber plants. With everything that you plant, you have to think about where you're going to plant it. Cucumbers spread out amazingly large, so I've come up with this idea where I'm using, again, old and recycled things. So this is an old bed frame, and that's an old swimming pool ladder. And so my vision is that the cucumbers are going to climb up here, and then the cucumbers are going to hang down, and it's also going to provide shade so I can put lettuce and spinach and those kinds of things underneath. Cucumbers need a lot of really fertile ground, so there's already some well-rotted manure mixed into the soil here. And I also did my best to get weeds and rocks out. And then I'm just going to plant it up to the leaves like this. Me and my amazing cameraman Mac have got the cucumbers all planted over there. I don't spread them out very much, maybe not as much as the books recommend, but there's lots of room for their roots to go down and spread around, and there's going to be no competition for light as they grow up this trellis, so I'm okay with them being that close together. Pumpkins, on the other hand, spread enormously and need tons of room, so I decided to plant them over here in the raspberry patch, because in that way at least they can spread out and they won't be like choking out the other plants. And the raspberries kind of grow like wild plants. They'll just survive no matter what. So I'm going to tip it over again, and I'm going to plant the pumpkin plant up into the leaves right there. So my biggest problem is porcupines. They love the squash. I hardly ever get any. But I also have a problem with something called cucumber beetles early in the year. And a trick that I picked up, an organic way of keeping it off without spraying it, is to use this. I bought this at the gardening store. It's called a frost cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the plants up, and I'm going to keep all this, including all those cucumbers, I'm going to cover them all up until they flower. And when they flower, they obviously need pollinators to come by and visit them if they're going to fruit. But if I put this over top, and I'm going to put rocks down over top like this, it'll still get enough sunlight. It'll actually keep them a little bit warmer, which is nice, and it'll keep off the cucumber beetle, which is a huge problem for killing small cucumber plants. And I find once they're well enough established, once they're big enough to flower, then the cucumber beetles won't kill them at that point. Okay. So I just wanted to show you another couple plants quickly. So this is asparagus, if anybody's ever been interested in cooking it. This is actually after it stopped being what you would cook. So you plant a crown. You can plant from seed, but I wouldn't recommend it. It takes forever. But this is what the asparagus, so when it first comes out, this is what you're used to eating, right? And when they start growing to bigger than the size of a pencil or your pinky, then you just let them go, right? And then they're gonna go to seed, and they're gonna put energy back into the plant for next year. So you kind of got to catch them early, like this one I could eat. And then if you look over here, there's a couple that are still small, so those ones are ones that I could still be eating. You do need to fertilize these perennials, so I did put some manure on here as well. Here's the strawberries. One thing you need to keep in mind with strawberries is that they send out runners all the time, right? So they send out these long stems and they'll put another plant on the end like this one, and then they'll break off, which is great. It gives you more strawberry plants. But if you're looking for fruit and it's putting its energy into making these little babies all the time, then you won't get a lot of strawberries. So what you need to do is when you see those suckers, you need to just cut them off, right? I also want to show you right here, this is oregano. It comes back year after year. It's amazing how prolific it is, and you can dry this, you can eat it fresh. It's amazing. It's got a lot of health benefits, including being anti-inflammatory. Some say it's even an antibiotic, but it does spread like crazy. So if you don't want it to be all over your garden, you can plant it in containers, or you can just do like me and live with tons of it, and you end up almost picking it like a weed. Hi, thank you so much for watching my video, and thanks to Mackie for his help filming today. I just want to say, if you liked it, please share it, leave some comments, and also leave me questions for future videos. Maybe I'm going to put a whole bunch of stuff in the greenhouse to grow in the hotter environment, so maybe I'll do a video next time about the plans for the greenhouse, or if you have any other questions, I'll address them in the next video. Thanks, bye.